All right, good afternoon, everybody. Motivation Behind the Mind podcast. I'm your host, Miles Daniels here, coming to you February 2021. Just really excited for this episode to kind of share some knowledge. I got my co-host Mike here, who also is going to share some fantastic knowledge, and we're just looking forward to bringing this to you. So how do you feel about kind of starting this podcast off today? Where you at? How you feeling about this whole thing?
I was super nervous, to be honest with you. I didn't even know if I wanted to come. I was going to try to get up out of it. And that's mainly just, whenever you start something new, it's never easy. Even when you start a job for the first day, like I always tell people I'm going to quit before I even start a job. So it's just, just see, here I go stuttering.
It's all good. It's all good. That's why we're keeping it real.
Jesus Christ, I don't even know what word I'm thinking of. Just being nervous about it for the most part. I've always been that type of person that kind of always wants to do things perfectly the first time. And just to know that starting out, I've never done nothing like this. It's just, it's something I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I love it. That's real right there. And that's kind of why we're doing this. So each episode, what we're going to do, we'll probably have about 3 topics that we go through. The whole point of this podcast, we're trying to provide value. We're sharing our stories, sharing what we do. We're being real. We're going to make mistakes. We made many mistakes in our life. If you're a young person listening to this, the goal is not for you to listen to this and say, oh my goodness, they're doing all that, I'm never going to get there. It's more like, hey, we can get something done. We can build these urban communities up. We can kind of do what we need to do. All right, so first thing we're talking about now, Community Level Up, nonprofit organization. We are located in New London, Connecticut. We are here to spread financial education, overall education, and overall just wealth and happiness for people. We are located on State Street. So I just want everybody to know we haven't opened yet, but we're talking with a lot of organizations. We're trying to find a way to get some youth and some other people in our community, open doors on Wall Street. We're talking with different schools to kind of get our programs in. And what our real goal is kind of when this COVID thing break, we're going to have after school programs. We're going to have before school programs. We'll have night education. And I just want everybody to know anybody is welcome to come in here. Anybody can check me out, Miles, what I do. I'm an open book to everybody. So as you're listening to this, just know that I'm coming from a place I want to share this. I didn't have something that I can listen to when I was younger like this. So I'm just trying to provide something and also incorporate the people that I feel bring a lot of value to this community. It's people that's close to me and it's people outside of my circle that we're going to bring in. But I just want everybody to know this is kind of an open place and kind of like a safe haven. So Mike, how you feeling kind of about, what do you feel like the community kind of needs to know about why you are really looking forward to getting this done? It's all good.
One thing is, you guys may not know this, but me and Miles pretty much grew up together to the point where we was playing G.I. Jones in our underwears. And
old school, yes.
And, I've always been the lead to a lot of, my younger friends, younger cousins, younger siblings. But Miles has always been kind of the person that I've always followed. So he's always been someone that always have kind of put me in this direction or help me focus myself towards this. So really it's more so just, being here and being able to help with younger individuals who may not have leadership, who may not have guidance. And you're way more open to the public than I am. I'm a little bit more closed. But I always say that takes a lot of courage to actually put yourself out there. And me, I always am there to help, but more so people have to seek me. I'm actually trying to change that to where I'm putting myself out there as well, so people can openly reach out to me.
Yes.
So, just doing this podcast, I feel like it's going to be great for me, great for the knowledge that I have that I can pass on to people. And, people that don't know me personally, I think that's going to be real good because people may look at me in a certain light, negatively or positively, but they don't truly know me because I don't speak to a ton of people.
Yes, gotcha.
A lot of people know me, but they don't know who I am as a man.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for the most part, that's really what, my emphasis behind doing this is.
Okay. I love that right there. Now with your whole emphasis behind it, COVID, different time for all of us.
Yes.
How do you think, in your eyes, how has COVID affected kind of our urban communities? What has COVID done? How has it kind of changed the urban entrepreneur, the youth? How do you kind of see it in your eyes?
So what I've been seeing is if you go the social media route, I feel like you see a lot of people that have been, for lack of a better word or better terms, have been coming up off COVID. There's way more Black entrepreneurs who are sharing what they're doing. Also, they're doing it at a cost, but they're trying to get other people active in the same way. Also, by leveling themselves up and bringing people up under them. I've been seeing a ton of that. Everybody's doing subscriptions, whether it be for trucking, whether it be for the stock market, whether it be for personal training or health and wellness. So I've been seeing that a ton lately, and I absolutely love it because I feel like kids, especially younger individuals, for the most part, I feel like their main thing is, I want to get a job.
Yes.
Whether it's at ShopRite pushing carts or in the mall doing retail, but there's so much more out there, and I feel like it's helping them kind of shape their future.
Yes.
The ones that are actually paying attention to it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But then negatively, I feel mental health wise, it has putting a huge damper on the urban community. Because people are losing their jobs. People aren't finding work. People's hours are getting cut. COVID is putting people away for 14 days to almost a month, depending how many people are in your house.
Yes. Yep.
So I had to go through that. As far as my fiance had COVID. So just being in the house for 2 weeks was, that was mentally straining for me, and that's not something I would want for anyone to do. Imagine you catching it, and then 2 weeks later, someone else in your house catching it.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to be out there again.
Yes.
So it's just, it has its positives and it has its negatives. For me, myself, it's more of a positive.
Yes.
I feel like mentally, I'm pretty well aware of who I am.
Yeah.
Whether I'm working, whether I'm not working, like I never really get down on myself. So mentally, it's not too straining for me. But as far as just like the knowledge that I picked up, and whether it's me listening to podcasts, reading more books, getting into the stock market, thanks to you.
Yes.
So it's definitely, it's kind of like a seesaw. Like it's not the same for everyone, but we all have our ups, we all have our downs.
Fantastic. Yes.
How about you?
In my eyes, COVID it's been negative. It has affected members in our community health wise, which I don't want anybody to take anything that we're saying. What I'm going to say as like we're happy for that part, but as far as just like we always had ideas to kind of get the nonprofit off the ground, but I think COVID gave us the time to where we can actually sit back in and really see what it looks like. And for myself personally, I took the time to see what it was, and I realized a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have been ready for the kind of journey that is needed right now to be taken. So I got a lot of time to learn, to help myself, educate myself, and then also share some of that education with other people. And I feel a lot of what I'm seeing around, and what I don't do enough is kind of commend a lot of the brothers and a lot of the sisters we have doing fantastic things in this community. And I'm hoping that as I grow, I'm going to continue to do that more. But a lot of people now aren't just like, we used to have a mindset to where we could just go get a job and then we were set. We got a job, we make it 20. Like when I was younger, I thought making $20 an hour, you have to never worry about anything else. Again, it's like, yo, you about to make 20 an hour, you set. And I'm like, nah, that's not. No. But now it's kind of, we're seeing, unfortunately, as people lose their jobs and they see how little value that a lot of these people above had for them, they're seeing like, yo, I need to now, it's a kick in the behind. I need to find a way to give myself value out there for the world. So I think that's fantastic. And I think we need more of that. So in that regard, I think we're building more entrepreneurs. There's more people learning about investing, which we're going to talk much about. There's more people learning about business creation. There's more people just kind of putting things out there and seeing that, like, when you work for these jobs, like if you don't have a skill that you bring to a job, then you're just another person. If you're just a time card, they can get rid of you at any time. So you need to find a way to provide skill kind of to the community. So now, COVID has been fantastic. COVID has been a detriment to our communities, but I think like diamonds come from pressure. Yep. Good things come from bad things. So we are struggling now, but I feel on the back end, this situation that we're in is going to provide so much more light and prosper to our communities. And I hope that this podcast can kind of bring value to what's going on in these communities. So if you're listening to this, each episode is to provide value. That's what we want this podcast to do. I'm going to share everything I do, from my dog food business to the stock market, to working with youth, to working behind the scenes, writing curriculum, to having this center on State Street showing around, to everything. I just want to share and open it up. And I want to invite other people in the community to do the same. Whether you're doing something negative or you're doing something positive, Now, if you're doing something negative and you have a story to share to where you might have had some bad times and now you've seen where that negativity got you to do something positive, I think that's a fantastic story to show. I think our community and our youth needs to hear the positives and they need to see the negative because they don't see all of it. But if we show them the entire thing, we show them we're transparent. We're not just putting things on social media that don't have anything to do with how we're really living. Think these kids need to just see what is out there. And that's what I hope this podcast can do, is have people see that view from our point. And then as we grow, one thing I have a plan to do is I plan to travel around the nation to meet with other like-minded individuals. So when that's happening, Mike's going to be here hosting. I plan to be down in Cali, down in Florida, whatever, just getting it, whatever. And then eventually Mike's going to be traveling and doing the same. So in your eyes though, like, how do you feel something like what we're trying to build here, what this podcast is, what we're trying to provide? What value do you think this can really bring to these urban communities around the world?
We have a lot of the same views on things. And if I go back to kind of what you said about, some along the lines of role models, having positive and negative role models is extremely important. My biggest thing always growing up has been, I never wanted to learn from my own mistakes. When I have an older brother who has been doing things, or I've had sisters and cousins that have been doing things, and it's like, I look at the broad scope of everything that's going on. And I was never a sheltered child. So I was able to see everything that was going on. And fortunately, I was able to see it and not let that deter me from my personal goals.
Okay.
So, again, the value this podcast can bring we can be that positive light.
Love that, yes.
And we can also touch on the negative.
Yes.
Because the thing is, to not touch on a negative wouldn't be authentic.
Yes.
Because we go through things. We all go through things. We have all done things that we may not be, too happy about or too ecstatic about for the most part. But I just feel like shedding the light on what can actually be done is something that, is incalculable for the most part.
I love that, man. That's fantastic. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up right about here. Look out for our next episode now. We're going to be releasing these on Sunday, sometime Sunday into Monday. It'll be done. We're not going to do much editing. So you should hopefully see improvements throughout the week. Our next episode is going to be kind of my why. So I'm going to share kind of why I do what I do. It will be kind of an interview style. We're going to have a lot of things like that. So if you like our content, make sure that you also check out, we have Community Level Up Facebook page where you can find me. If you're into trading stocks, you can find Community Level Up Trading and Investing. We have a group. Also, YouTube is where I'm starting to go live. Every Wednesday, I'll be live on YouTube, 6:30, just sharing different information, starting with the stock market, going from there. Facebook, as far as personally, if you send me a message, I may not get it. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of close my Facebook off, so I'm not looking at much. I'm just still posting there because I know there's a lot of people in my community there. But if you need to email me, you can listen to our trailer. I got my email in there. Or the best way, LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. Hit me up. Let's get on there. Let's grow. So, Mike, let everybody know kind of where can they find you if they're looking to kind of reach out to you, get more information about what you got going on.
Well, I'm terrible on Facebook. I am terrible with my messages on Facebook. I am active on social media. My Instagram is Michael 2 Anthony.
Okay.
Actually, the number 2. And what else? I'm heavy on Twitter, Mike 2 Morgan. I try to get back as fast as possible to people, but I'm not going to sit here and say I am perfect with communication. If you really want to get in touch with me, it's best to do it through email.
Yes.
I take my email way more seriously than a DM, and that is MikeMorgan14@gmail.com.
There you go. That's where you can find us. I hope this value. I hope if this podcast provided value to you, just share it to somebody else. Like, we're not asking for money for anybody. We're not asking anything. We just want to share information. We wanted to help people out. If you think somebody can benefit from this, definitely get them involved. And we'll be back next week with my why, and we're going to continue to grow. I hope all y'all have a fantastic day.
Peace.